Alright, now we're reading chapter 194 of Beastars. I really love this comment by Paru Sensei. I was gonna let Zanguan go back to the sea, but I didn't like it and let him return instead. She just seems like so impulsive, even though obviously so much had to be planned for this series and like so much intensive thought went into the world building and stuff. At the same time, it feels like she just spontaneously runs with so many ideas and just really writes the story emotionally. It's like even though the world building was very analytical and thoughtful, the story just moves based on the whims of her emotions, which I think is a really great combination. Yes, so we're finishing Beastars. In the previous video, I gave my explanation of why I'm finishing, or trying to finish, all sorts of manga in the month of May to get over this weird psychological barrier I have with finishing series. Why I'm reading Beastars today of all days, I don't know, it just feels right. It's such a feral, bestial, visceral series. And today I've had what feels like a nice physical day. I went for a long walk, the weather was good, I got sweaty, I felt like beat up by my long journey, even though I was just through parks and streets and stuff. I felt very hungry at the end. I think this series is so good at tapping into that animalistic quality that lurks within the human. So let's see how this one plays out. I'm skipping through all these silly meme pages. There's a wonderful little cover page. Eternity until every window turns dark. The climax is imminent. Beautiful cover spread. Our feelings starting to be connected. Here we see two carnivores, two herbivores, but they couldn't look any more natural together. Love these guys. Just love so many characters in this series. Lewis and Juno are dating. Confirmed! Because at the end of the last chapter, Juno was going, is this a date? Is this a date? Which, like, who knows? Maybe this is like their 8th date, and she's still pulling this because she either thinks it's cute or it's her genuine insecurity. Or it could be their first date, or it could be they're not even dating and she's just being a little shit. She's deep in thought. Today you are going to kiss me. She already kissed him. She made the first move there. Okay, I like it. I like this idea that in the end, Lewis is in a carnivore-herbivore relationship himself. Of course, because I have the heart and soul of a Fujoshi, I had my little moments of shipping Lewis and Legoshi. How could you not? You know, how could you not? And like, I didn't really expect anything to move in that direction, but I think it's fair to say that they definitely had an attraction to each other, right? Like, I think most of their character development happens in relation to each other and kind of like learning the other way of life that the other represents and stuff, right? So I think Lewis ending up with Juno, who's so different than Legoshi, but kind of like carrying both that sense of Legoshi within himself, being transformed by Legoshi somehow, which of course appeals to Juno, who used to have a huge crush on Legoshi, and then also finding things that he learned to appreciate in Legoshi in Juno, be they physical or, you know, personality wise. I don't know. It's something about this I find like very endearing, both in stories and in real life. When you meet somebody's partner, and then you kind of see how their partner reflects things that they enjoyed in their friendships and stuff. I always find that so wholesome, so beautiful, you know? I feel like something like that is happening here. Can't forget that kiss we had. And I know you're going to kiss me on this date. What a great face. The faces in this series are so good. Baseless confidence is charming, but don't drag me into this. Nice little street shot. Look at this gang of mice. More mice action, please. We learned so little about the mice gang that Yaya eventually like adopts as like his crew of assistants slash entourage slash hit squad slash whatever. But they all seem to kind of operate in this way. That their plan is by default to clump together in a big group and help each other out, which is adorable. I like this censored kiss panel. Very good. If you couldn't say no to today's date, it's because you cannot forget it. Isn't that right? Or am I overthinking it? Please answer me. Poor Juno. Juno is so anxious. Juno needs therapy. All these motherfuckers need therapy. Juno, in the end, a very tragic character. Well, I shouldn't say in the end, because this is her last big spotlight character, but it was like she was making such good progress along all the lines that she wanted to make, right? And she was really becoming that representative of carnivores that she wanted to become, to raise their reputation in Cherryton and broader society. And then it wasn't that she like failed, it wasn't that she had some major downfall, it wasn't that she was like defeated or ousted. It's just that the crises moved past her so quickly. And you know, what was happening at the school suddenly felt so irrelevant to what was happening in the back alley market and such. Anyways, what do you want to do? Go watch a movie or something? Only people with no self-confidence would choose that. I refuse to do that. Today I'll be focusing only on me. I've heard this said a lot before, that movies aren't actually a good first date idea, since this seems to be a first date. Because yeah, it's like you focus on the movie, you're not really focusing on each other. But I think it like kind of depends on, like, my boyfriend has a great taste in movies. We were just talking about this last night, how lucky we both feel that we can actually go to movies that are interesting to us with each other. And that sweet spot of being with someone who's into movies, but not the most popular movies, which we both aren't interested in, but more niche art film and stuff. If the first time I had met him was through different means, and he took me on a date, which was going to see an art film, I would be so charmed. Because that actually matters so much to me, having that sort of compatibility. Enjoying that sort of niche interest together and stuff, I think is like such a blessing in a relationship. So I think that would have said a lot to me. And then I'm also the type, I really like talking about the movie after. I go to see a lot of movies with my boyfriend and other friends and stuff. And it's great. It's like such a lively experience, the long conversation over dinner or whatever afterwards. I don't think it should be just movie and then go home instantly, like split up at the theater or whatever. You need that space to discuss and stuff. And I think it's like, it's more, almost like more revealing or more easy to bring out deeper ideas and like your true beliefs and like your morality and these like major deep things that normally don't come out when you're just meeting someone in the context of discussing the movie, rather than just kind of like nakedly stating your beliefs, talking about what you liked and disliked in the movie and the messaging you got from it and stuff. I think it's such like a great avenue to these more intimate, more meaningful conversations. So I don't know. I'm pro movie date. I'm gonna come out and say it. I'm pro movie date. But again, with the caveat, like, go see an interesting movie. If you go see like a fucking Marvel movie, then what are you gonna talk about? I thought it was good when the raccoon beat up the alien. Yeah, me too. I hate aliens. Bonding. Okay, moving on. Ooh, shit. Dude, these contrasting pages are so good. Paru is such a genius of this understanding the medium of manga. From now on, you'll be focusing only on business. Ah, yeah, Suzuki-san. Now that he's head of horns, I feel like, can he just annul the whole engagement thing? Like, who's gonna tell him no? He's the head of horns. But I don't know. I feel like, you know, he does have some feelings for Azuki-san. They have, you know, a relationship, a past and stuff. So it's obviously not that easy for him. I love these little pugs playing their Nintendo Twitch. But yeah, Lewis really at a crossroads. But it's like kind of a false dichotomy. It's not like he has to give up the business to date. I said her name like 5 times already. Juno. But it's like, I guess maybe it'll look bad if he's dating a carnivore, if he's dating a wolf. They'd have to keep their relationship secret maybe for the sake of the company. It would look a lot better if he had this very convenient for business relationship with Azuki-san. So I guess, I don't know, maybe it's like a true dichotomy, business or Juno. Doesn't show her emotions much. Never speaks what's truly on her mind. This is the contrasting of these two. Is very funny. Very, very cute Juno pictures. Somewhere far away. I saw an art gallery exhibit in Tokyo called I Want to Go Somewhere Far Away. I thought that was such a beautiful, evocative title. And it seems like Juno understands that appeal. Oh, I can see the school. She was right in a way. How many movies would it take to be worth just one train ride with her? Excellent shot. Oh, man. Look at all of these little details. The fact that there's a double eyelid surgery in this world, anti-flea shampoos, raccoon dentistry, the full moon cologne, all these animals. This gorilla that's all like dressed up in hypebeast stuff with like the cuffed raw denim and these like expensive looking sneakers and this prominently branded gory mountain coat. God, this series is so good. I'm so happy. I'm really glad I decided to make these videos. Like, I'm so glad I can share at least a little bit of the love I have and the fun I've had reading this series. It's so nice. I love rain, but my fur always gets messed up, so the sun today is nice. Everything around Juno is like her own stage. The sunlight, the wind, everything. Even the kiss on graduation day. It didn't feel real. I almost forgot my own place in this world. Ah! Oh, Lewis! You're finally experiencing true romantic love. At long last. Even though it wasn't for my boy Legoshi. I kissed you and everything. How was it? It's a political marriage. I'm not looking for a romantic kiss. Harsh, dude. Not the only thing you can think to say. That's not a bad thing. My love is for the Horns conglomerate, not for you. Ah, tragic. Tragic, tragic, tragic. But it is what it is. Of course. Now when we're going to work ever harder. Make the Horns conglomerate even bigger. Able to recruit more people over time. And here he visits the Shishigumi, the Lion Mafia in prison. Hire as president. and clearly he wants to, with this flashback, which is a flashback within a flashback, by the way, accompanying him saying, oh, I want to be able to recruit more people into the Horns conglomerate. He's gonna make them cats go legit. I wonder if this is the last time we'll see these characters. I really love the Shishigumi. I don't know. They were like both so intimidating, but so silly, like at every single stage. Like outside of their very first appearance, where they're like hella intimidating, once you actually like figure out kind of how this mafia business works in this world and stuff, it's like so cat-like. Just this artificial facade of dignity. Just this overwhelming desire to make everything look planned and calculated when really they're flying by the seat of their pants. Good stuff. Good characters. Fun times. But this is not a movie. Oh, koala. You can't have everything. Oh, a little cockatiel. So many animals that we didn't even get to see, that Paryu's just throwing in right at the end. sitting here for a long, long time. Giraffe, another rare animal. The car is empty. He finally returns to the topic. Now this feels like exaggerated. I feel like realistically they were chatting the whole time, or maybe realistically it didn't actually take that long that it goes from full day to full night or whatever. But the series often, I think, kind of blends a symbolic understanding of what's happening with the actual physicality of what's being depicted. I think this is a good example of that. It's true that I'll never be able to forget that graduation day. You'll never see me again. I'm sorry. I understand why you can't forget that day. It's more than that, because on that day, you felt them through my lips. My fangs. My front teeth, my canine teeth, and then my Cara Nasiel teeth. God, it's great page. Oh my god, it's so intense. Oh, poor Lewis. This will be another day that he can never ever forget. So it's like I'm sure that we're gonna get some Haru and Legoshi stuff in the next few chapters. I'm sure that they'll address this a little more, but it's like it's really haunting and powerful, I think, how little they were able to fix or justify or whatever this feeling of, in the carnivore's mind, romantic or sexual desire is always going to be cross-contaminated and tangled up with the hunger, the desire to eat and consume and kill. That this was like such a tragedy of Legoshi's attraction to Haru, his perversion or whatever the hell it is, that it was so hard for him to overcome. But just generally seems to be true of all carnivores, that they're going to have to face such a monumental uphill battle to get over that insane complex, that beast complex, to reference Haru's previous series. That was like the Beastars prototype. I really think it's cool that they weren't just like, and now it's easy, or like, and here's a message of love that in the end love will trivially overpower hunger, right? There was even that terrifying scene where Haru spills jam on the night that she sleeps over at Legoshi's, and Legoshi thinks that he ate her. And even though I saw Haru on the cover of the last volume in the bookstore, I still felt freaked out. I still felt like maybe Haru died. Because it feels like nothing is off the limits for this series. And that again and again we're hit with this message of like, all it takes is one slip up and the carnivore can just devour the herbivore. And it's like, yeah, they're not shying away from that. Remember every one of them, Lewis Senpai. Goodbye. The title of this chapter is so profound to me now. Riding the train until every window turns dark. I think that there's like that very romantic image of riding the train and seeing all the lights on in the windows. I've used that as an image in writing fiction before. I find it very warm and compelling. And then the idea of riding the train then for so long past that point that all the windows turn dark, that everyone goes to bed. It's beautiful. It's very poetic. With this, a fangless kiss won't satisfy you anymore. Boom! Ooh! Amazing. Amazing. Cute curse of a wolf. There's Beaklo, like Uniqlo. Oh, and there's our Panda Man. Name forgotten. Oh man, what was his name? It was also cool, like Goshin or something like that. Maybe Goshin. Something like that. There's the Taito Station. It's like, they're definitely in Tokyo. There's so many things that are like very particularly Tokyo-esque in this series. But let me ask you this. What the hell is going on in the rest of the world of Beastars? And how much does the stuff that we're seeing matter on a national or global scale? Because this society is as built up and sophisticated and technologically advanced as modern human society, right? So, in order to have all these products and all these brands and all this culture and like the internet and stuff, plus the existence of sea people and whatever the hell is going on there, it can't just exist within the city, right? There's definitely more than just the city. And then there's like the scene where all the headmasters of the school meet up and stuff. This is one of the most baffling things about this whole series to me, is just that it's so unclear what the global relevance of things that we're learning about is. Like, when there was the carnivore-herbivore war of centuries ago, was that like a worldwide conflict? But then the whale that resolved it just happens to reside in the city and talks to the sublime beastar of the city? Or is Yaya the sublime beastar of the entire world? Not only is it, like, never explained, but it feels, like, deliberately ambiguous. Like, deliberately hard to understand. Is this the black market? Or is there one of these in every city? Is there one of these in every ward of Tokyo? We just don't know. It's such a weird level of what I would call, like, loose world building. And I can talk about this for, like, hours. The way that different series do world building in these kind of, like, shonen-esque fantasy series where they know it's going to run for a long time and they're going to have, like, multiple arcs and stuff. There's a certain logic and structure that sets you up well to be able to tell stories in your world. That's kind of evolved over the last, like, 20 or so years, I think, in this genre. And Paru does none of it. Or, like, she does it, but, like, doesn't do it in a way that, like, makes sense. Like, setting up that there's a Beastar and that this is, like, a societally recognized position, that this is, like, a hero of society. That makes sense. Talking about, like, wars in the past. That makes sense. Talking about, you know, here are all the different headmasters of the school. That makes sense. But then, like, they don't evolve in the way that you think they will. They don't become relevant in the way that you think they will. The way that society is, like, built up and all these, like, inherent problems it has, it's like she's fighting with herself and, like, challenging herself and, like, never doing anything the easy way or in the way that the audience would expect. But it's so good. It makes it so weird and compelling. Anyways, I'll probably have occasion to talk about this a bit more. But this is just such a open question to me. Like, I just read this recently. So, I think I would remember if this was ever explained. And I don't think it was. What is going on in the actual world of this series beyond this city? What is this city's relevance to the rest of the world? Anyways, let's finish her up. Chapter 195, the last one-on-one battle of the mammals. That must be Haru and Legoshi. I'll see you then.